Good evening, all, and thank you for tuning in to tonight's story. If you enjoy it, please remember to subscribe and like the video so we can continue bringing you more horror stories. Now, without further ado, take a deep breath and relax as we take a journey through the night. The meat hummed as it cooked. The fire crackled, spitting embers into the crisp night air. The scent of roasting meat filled the campsite, thick and greasy, coating the back of Jamie's throat with a warm, smoky taste. He swallowed hard, shivering against the chill, pulling his hoodie tighter around his body. "Smells good," Olivia muttered, teeth chattering, her breath visible in the cool mountain air. She sat cross-legged near the fire, rubbing her arms. "What did you bring anyway? I don't remember packing anything like this." "Me neither," Chris said, poking at the sizzling meat with a long stick. A strip of fat dripped onto the flames, hissing as it melted. "Thought we were just doing s'mores tonight." Jamie frowned, shifting uncomfortably on the log. "I didn't bring it." "Neither did I," Olivia added. The three exchanged glances. Chris laughed nervously. "Maybe Ryan or Sam threw it on before they crashed. Smells damn good, though. Might as well enjoy it." Jamie turned toward the tents. Ryan and Sam had gone to bed an hour ago, exhausted from the long hike up the mountain. Their tent flaps were closed, motionless in the dim firelight. "They're out cold," Olivia murmured. "They'd have said something if they brought food." Chris shrugged. "Maybe some other campers left it?" Like a gift. Trail magic. Jamie's stomach twisted. The meat looked extremely fresh, deep red with a sickly shine, the kind that should have needed hours to marinate or season. But it had been cooking when they noticed it, sizzling perfectly over the flames, as if someone had just stepped away from the fire moments before. He stood up. "I'm gonna wake Ryan. This is weird." "Dude, it's fine," Chris groaned. "You're always so paranoid. Just eat and relax." Jamie ignored him, stepping carefully toward the tents. He unzipped Ryan and Sam's tent, leaning inside. Empty. His heart skipped. He pulled back the sleeping bags. Nothing. "Guys," he called. His voice rang loud in the quiet forest. "What?" Olivia turned, setting her marshmallow stick down. "Ryan and Sam aren't here." Chris snorted. "Maybe they went to take a leak?" Jamie swallowed hard, stepping back. The woods loomed around them, dark and endless. A terrible silence pressed in, broken only by the crackling fire and the distant rustling of leaves. Then a noise, a low, wet sound, like something heavy dragging through the dirt. "Did you hear that?" Olivia whispered. Jamie's pulse pounded. The dragging noise grew closer, accompanied by another sound, labored breathing, a wet, gurgling inhale. Then a figure emerged. A shadow staggered into the firelight, hunched and trembling. The flames cast flickering light over its body, revealing torn clothing. Bare feet scraped raw against the rocks. It was Sam, at least it used to be. His arms hung limply at his sides, his torso carved with deep gashes, raw flesh peeling away from his ribs. His face was slack, eyes rolled back, mouth hanging open in a silent scream. His stomach had been torn apart, intestines dragging behind him, trailing a thick, dark smear across the forest floor. "Oh my God!" Olivia gasped, scrambling back. "Sam!" Sam took another step forward, then collapsed to his knees. His breath tightened. body convulsing. A deep guttural sound escaped his throat, something between a sob and a growl. Then he looked up. His lips twitched. His jaw unhinged and a thick, bloody garble bubbled out. "You ate it!" he rasped. Jamie's stomach dropped. "What?" Chris stood frozen, stick still in his hand, a bite of half-chewed meat stuck between his teeth. Olivia gagged, spitting into the dirt. Sam coughed, blood flecking his lips. "You ate it! Ryan, you ate—" He choked, body convulsing. His breath rattled. Then he slumped forward, motionless. Silence. Jamie took a shaking step backward. No, this has to be—" Then they heard it, a laugh, low, breathy, coming from the trees. Chris turned toward the sound, dropping his stick. "Who? Who's there?" A figure stepped forward, emerging from the dark. Tall, gaunt, barefoot, mud-caked toes sinking into the earth. Its clothes were patchwork, stitched together from different fabrics, some pieces dark with old blood. Its face was obscured by a veil. No, not a veil. A face. A human face stretched and fastened over its skull, the edges crusted with dried gore. The thing tilted its head, watching them. A breath hitched in its throat. Then another laugh. "Still hungry?" it whispered. "Was Sam not enough for you?" Jamie stumbled back, trying not to vomit, and grabbed Olivia's wrist. "We need to go, now." Chris stood frozen, staring at the creature. "What the fuck is that?" The thing took a step forward. "You like it?" It giggled. "I worked extra hard on it." Then, without warning, it lunged. Chris barely had time to scream before the figure tackled him, driving a jagged hunting knife into his stomach. The blade twisted, flesh parting with a wet squelch. Chris's body spasmed as blood bubbled up his throat. The thing repeatedly stabbed Chris, every thrust spraying blood until it was completely covered with it. Jamie grabbed Olivia, yanking her toward the trees. "Run!" They bolted into the forest, branches whipping past their faces. Behind them, the fire flickered, casting long shadows as the thing let out a wild, shrieking laugh. "You didn't get your bellies full, did you?" it yelled. Jamie didn't look back. He didn't need to. The sound of footsteps pounding against the dirt told him it was coming.